Colonel Bruce Hampton? No. See, people up here don't know Colonel Bruce. Colonel Bruce Hampton, do you mind if I talk?
No, go ahead.
If there are dogs and kids that you have to get back, you let me know, I'll stop. Colonel Bruce Hampton, I lived in the South. I lived in New Jersey, but I lived in London, California, and I lived in all over the place. But I moved to the South like 20 years ago. And Colonel Bruce Hampton, when I got to the South, was a staple of the South. So when I got to Virginia, there was this whole circuit. It was Dave Matthews, it was Fish, it was Colonel Bruce Hampton and the Aquarium Rescue Unit, it was Widespread Panic, Gib Droll, all these bands. And you'd go to UVA or, some college on a Friday or Saturday night, and there would be tour buses and trucks, and it was so different than up here. And when I came to Philly, I played the Tower Theater 3 times, I played the Spectrum, I played Amber and Trocadero, and all those places, So, but down there, I went into this scene that it was so odd, because you'd go to some college on, a weekend, and literally it would be filled with buses and trucks and trailers, and, there would be Dave Matthews and Carter, hey, what are you guys doing? And it was this whole scene, it was wild, but nobody was signed, right? So Colonel Bruce Hampton was this staple down there. He was this older guy, and he always had these incredible musicians. And out of Bruce Hampton, the Aquarium Rescue Unit, came Oteil Burbidge, who ended up with the Allman Brothers and the Grateful Dead, Jimmy Herring, who was absolutely one of the best guitar players in the world, and certainly one of the best in the South. So, and this isn't really funny, but it's actually funny if you knew Colonel Bruce Hampton. So about, I want to say it was 2 months, maybe? Yeah, about 2 months ago. So they're having, my old manager is Willie Perkins, who was with the Allman Brothers from the beginning. He managed Greg Allman, and we're still friends. He lives in Macon, So they had this birthday party for Colonel Bruce at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, which if you've never been to this place, it is one of the most spectacular places you could ever go to. It was a Mason, the Masonic temple, holds about 3,200. It's gorgeous. The ceiling is the 24 hours of the day that on a scrim, that when you're sitting on stage and you're looking up at the ceiling, you're just like mesmerized because it's the stars and the moon, and you're like, wow, I almost fell off the stage one time. So they had this celebration for Bruce, It's his birthday. He's turning 70, so Tinsley Ellis comes in, and Billy Bob Thornton, and all Oteil, and Greg was really sick at that point, so he couldn't make it, and Warren Haynes comes in, and it's like everybody, they all come in, and it's sold out. It's his birthday. It's like, are you talking about me? Are you like complaining about me talking, Greg? Huh?
If I did, I'd be complaining all night. But
no shit. So, so it's this beautiful celebration. They all rehearse all week, and it's unbelievable. And Bruce was a card, he was a really funny guy. So they do the show, and it's all his fans and his friends and everybody, and they did this whole show, and they get to the encore, and it's unbelievable, and then Bruce does this thing that he did like all the time. He'd fall on the floor and go, oh my God, I'm dying. And everybody started laughing. He fell on the floor, and the encore ended. He fell on the floor and he didn't say anything. And everybody went, what? Bruce, get up. We know you're kidding. Bruce waited until the end of the encore on his birthday party night at his favorite place in the world to play, sold out in front of all of his fans and friends, and died on the stage at the last note of the encore. This is like 2 months ago.
True story.
And everybody was like appalled, like, oh my God, Bruce is dead. And then they all went, oh, this is fucking perfect. This is what Bruce would do. He died on his birthday in front of all of his friends after doing a 2.5-hour show. So now it's like, it's really legendary. He's like, we all knew Greg was getting worse and worse, and we knew what was going on. The people close to, the band knew what was going on with Butch. We didn't know it was going to turn out like that, but we all knew there were a lot of things going on, and he was not happy. But with Bruce, it was perfect. He died on stage in front of everybody. So now this is like the legend of the South, you know? One of the guys that was the beginning of the jam band thing, I mean, and he truly was. You know, I mean, like just with Jimmy and O'Teal coming out of that band, that's like two of the heaviest guys that have ever existed in, you know, Southern music. He freaking dies at the Fox. So, and everybody, you know, so now everybody laughs about it and goes, yeah, he's giving us the finger up there. You know, it's like, yeah, fuck you guys, see what I did to you, huh? What do you think? It was perfect. So that's why, you know, every show's got to be unbelievable. It doesn't matter who it's in front of, but, you know, it's,
You never know.
you never know. You know, I mean, look what happened with David Z last week, you know, and the, you know, Adrenaline Mob guys. I mean, I just saw him with Trans-Siberian. I mean, you know, you never know. You have no idea. And everybody thinks, you know, it's such a, you know, this is such a glamorous thing, and this is, oh, it's amazing, you go play. It's a lot of danger, there's a lot of stuff that happens, and, you know, when you're traveling a couple 100,000 miles a year or more, there's a lot of stuff that can go on, and, you know, it's every time you can play a note and have someone, and I always say that too, if you guys applauded to a lot of songs that many, actually, you know, there were only 2 songs you actually knew, you applauded for songs that you never heard. That's a success. Because when you write something and you really write something that you feel is part of you, and then someone applauds for it, and they've never heard it, that's the best thing that can happen as a songwriter. You know, so it's cool. So that doesn't mean I'm dying tonight, I hope so.
Where they just felt bad.
I am in the north. But somehow, other than you, I think everyone is being honest about it.
I'm being honest.
No, but you know what I mean? It's like, when someone really appreciates it, I mean, and they have no idea, it's like, wow, what is that song? And then they applaud, it's like, and they like it. They like me. They really like me. So this is a tune. This is a really, really, really important tune to me. It has been for a really long time, and I'll tell you another really cool story. And thank you for hanging out. I thought you all left, so because I love doing this, and I really do think this is one of the coolest things I've done in a while. I mean, it is. I mean, the only thing that's been cooler in the last couple of months is the castle. You know, we played a castle in right near Red Rocks in Colorado. Yeah. And it was really, that's what I was saying, it was like a $35 ticket, and it was like 90 people, and it was sold out, and it was so cool, because it was literally a real castle on the top of a huge mountain overlooking, like, you know, millions of acres. It was like, oh yeah, this is cool. You know, it didn't have to be Red Rocks. I would have taken that in a second, you know, and it was really, but this is really cool. Cool venue. And you guys are really nice.
We are.
I know you are. So, this is a song that, this is going along with something that I was saying before. That, you know, you never know what's going to happen. You have to be really honest about the stuff. So, I wrote this when I was going through one of my, well, I'm like Joan Collins. I've been divorced 50 times. So, 3 times. So this is during my first divorce. So I needed to write, you know, stuff that made me feel better. You know, and you have to do that. That's what's cool about being a writer, because it's cathartic. So I wrote this song. I was doing a radio tour. The record hadn't come out yet. And I went to a radio station, and the radio disc jockey said, hey, you know, you should get that to Eric Clapton. And I went, okay, I'll see if I can do that. And I know Clapton. I had met him in London, which is another story, but that's in my book. Because I told him he was a liar, but that's okay. That's something else to talk about. So, Kevin.
I'm glad I got an otter box.
Damn. I thought it was the story. No, I'm sorry. Anyway, I wrote the song, and I needed it for my soul. And it was originally called Drowning in a Sea of Hope, which is pretty messed up, you know? But I meant it. And I said, nah, I can't do that. That's a bad thing to write. So I said, you know, I changed it to Take Me to the Sea of Hope. So I went to Clapton. Clapton demoed it, and I saw him a couple times and said, can I have the demo? And he said, no, you can't. I went, please let me have the demo. He said, no, you can't. I said, I want to see what you did with it. And he went, no. But it was for Pilgrim, which was in '98, I think. So, song came out on my album. I used it. He didn't use it, which is cool. I always say that. It's cool. If Clapton wants to do anything, it's cool. And what happened was, this is where it gets sort of interesting. Well, it gets very interesting, because this is what it all goes through as a performer and as a writer. I got an email a number of years after this came out. It was on an album called Holding Ground. And this guy from Czechoslovakia sends me this email, and he says, I have your album called Holding Ground. I got it from a friend of mine in France, and it's fantastic, and thank you. And he said, I needed to get in touch with you, Mr. Messano. He said, because there's a song on it called Sea of Hope. And he said, I wanted to thank you for saving my life, because I was going to commit suicide. And I heard your lyrics, and I thought you were talking to me. And you stopped me from killing myself. And I went, this is stunning that this could happen. And the guy meant it. And I realized that when you write words, no matter how good or bad or whatever they are, it can actually affect someone. And this affected that particular guy in Czechoslovakia. So every time I think that I should write another song, or I shouldn't have done this, or it's too hard, or it's too strange, and it's getting harder, I have people that say to me, if you hadn't done that, you wouldn't have saved that guy's life, and he'd be dead, maybe. So I always thank the stars that I wrote this, because it helped me through stuff, and it's certainly helped that fellow to get through something really difficult. And that's what this is all about, you know? So if you say bad things to someone, it can affect them just as badly. And if you say something that can help someone, you can save a life. And as a songwriter, that was the best thing that could ever happen, and it worked. So this is Sea of Hope. The day you're born, you get a pat on the back. Kick you out the door, so never come back. Live your life, be a good, honest man. Working hard, do the best you can. You feel unbalanced, you feel confused. You know you're lonely, you've been abused. But don't you worry, boy, it's your man. God's standing out, that'll lend you a hand. When even in the darkest night, a beautiful light can shine. Turn you to the sea of hope. Swimming free with no life gold. Turn you to the sea of hope. I feel the love in the sea of hope. You're overqualified, you're underrated, an underachiever or a disbeliever. Your fan is taken, you aren't shaken. Gotta do right, mama, gotta bring on the bacon. The dollars rule our lives, love is frozen high. The touch of kindness is our very shell. We're out for everything, we're no concern on anything. Angels in our doorways, always pushed away. Even in the darkest night, the river light can shine. Turn into the sea of hope. Swimming free with no life gold. Turn into the sea of hope. I feel the love, I feel the love. Turn into the sea of hope. Swimming free with no life gold. Turn into the sea of hope. I feel the love in the sea of hope. But you know, it means so much. So I got to see Jimi Hendrix on August 23rd, 1968. And when I'm doing college shows, I was a little fetus. With little fetus binoculars and watching Jimi Hendrix on the stage in Flushing Meadows, Queens. The old World's Fairgrounds. And it turns out Ed's wife worked for the promoters. She's actually famous for throwing what was it? A bottle opener at Jim Morrison's head?
Yeah.
But it was really cool, you know. I mean, it was the Edward Hawkins Singers, who were not on the bill. And then the Soft Machine with Robert Wyatt, before all the big guns came in. And then there was someone on the bill that wasn't on the bill because they didn't want to put it on the poster because they thought it'd be too crazy. But before that was the Chambers Brothers, one of my favorite bands of all time, you know. Time has come today. Time, no time, far away. Time. Great band. The first black rock band I ever saw, and they blew me to shreds, and now Lester's one of my friends, and that's so cool. And then the act that nobody knew was going to be on this bill was Jimi Hendrix.
She drank Southern Comfort.
She drank Southern Comfort. And this band came out, and I was a fetus. No, I was 14 years old. And these guys sucked. What a horrible band. Even at 14, I was sitting there going, God, these guys are horrible. Who the hell is this? They suck. And this crazy woman with wild hair, drinking what? Southern Comfort.
Wearing a boa.
Jumping up on that stage, and it was Janis Joplin. And they didn't put her on the bill because they thought it would be so completely out of control that they had Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin on the same bill. But oh my God. And then that band was really good from that point on because she was incredible. And then Jimmy was God. And he came out on stage, he had a guitar on the floor in front of him and was playing Are You Experienced with his feet. So I always go, it's such a bummer. You can see it on YouTube. But a lot of us back then, we saw shows like, Led Zeppelin with Delaney and Bonnie and Woody Herman. And
I saw him with Rush on Roll on Kirk.
Rush on Roll on Kirk? The shows that we saw back then were so amazing, and it just doesn't happen now. And of course, this was for $2.75 with no parking fee. But I'll tell you, it changed my life. And one of the things I always say is that if you do a song by someone, which doesn't really go these days because tribute bands are everywhere, and to me it's just karaoke, especially when they're doing acts that you played with. But if you're going to do a song by somebody, don't do it like the artist. Because the best homage you can do for an artist is to play it some way completely different, just your way. And everybody would be happy to know that that was happening. So this is my little acoustic version of Little Wing. And this is Ed Canova on the bass. Well, she's walking through the clouds, dark as night, got to run away. Butterflies and zebras, tales. Racing with the wind. When she said she comes to me, used to be free. It's alright, she said, baby. You take anything you want from me. Anything. Sometimes we don't know if we should actually do that.
And that